Well, good morning, guys. Welcome to Walking Boxing. It is Saturday, October the 5th, 2024, and it is the morning after what was an interesting night of boxing. Of course, I'm referring to Janibek I finally got that right. He's on a plane home. Finally got it right anyway. But with a 9th round stoppage / knockout of a very tough and game Mikhailovich. Full of drama, full of, well, I won't say controversy, but I'll say maybe some ineptness, if that is the word, from officials, DJs. Overall though, look, I think it was a successful night. Looked like the crowd was okay at the casino. I think it only holds about 1,000 and it looked pretty full to me. But yeah, the night itself, look, first of all, you know, obviously congratulations to Janibek. He came out here on with 2 days prep here in Australia and got the job done. I don't think it was by no means his most impressive performance that he's ever put together, but end of the day, as I said, got the job done. So we started off with, look, I don't want to be too critical of the event, but you could tell straight away that, and as probably in the lead up to the whole event, that it was slapped together very quickly. Not a lot of love was really put into the promotion of the event, the undercard, and I sort of get the undercard part because they've invested a hell of a lot of money in the main event. The chances are that, you know, they've lost a fair bit of money on the event, so I understand that they're going to skimp a little bit, but and it was a free event too on not pay-per-view, so I understand that. But yeah, it's the lack of, as I said, promotion of the event, the undercard, the fact that George, Matt, what's the other one's name? I can't remember. The Rose brothers anyway, neither of them or any of them were at the weigh-in or press conference or anything like that, which I think is pretty disappointing when it's your event, it's in your city. So that probably told us that it was probably pretty far down as far as the relevance goes. But look, end of the day, the night itself, you wouldn't have known any of that stuff had gone on. We had there was 2 undercard fights, but they only televised, 3 undercard fights, but only televised the 2. The first one was a young kid from Sydney and another guy from Papua New Guinea. I didn't see that one. But in the first televised fight, what was it, Kazi and MacGyver, I think I pronounced that right. Look, it wasn't a bad fight. I must admit, I thought that, especially because it had been thrown together so quickly and the records of both guys, I thought it might be an early night. But MacGyver really dug in. Look, he was overmatched. Kazi's not a bad young kid, actually. I think he's gone to 7-0 now, so he was actually okay. But got some good rounds. I think it went to the 7th round. The referee actually stepped in and stopped the fight, which I thought was maybe a little bit tough at the time. I thought even though Kazi had won pretty much every round, I thought that MacGyver had actually hung in there and you know, given as good as he got in occasion, was tough. But I understand in this day and age we can't let the fighters take too much punishment, although considering what happened in the main event, that's probably a little bit ironic. But anyway, we'll get to the main event in a minute. But yeah, so Kazi got the stoppage in the 7th round. Then we moved to the girls, or the ladies, sorry, I shouldn't call them girls, the ladies. And look, it wasn't the greatest fight, let's say. It was a little bit, both ladies were spoiling each other, clinching, all the rest of it. But you know, the head clash at the end of the first round. Look, I thought until the head clash, I thought actually Shannon was boxing okay. Mikhailovich was always going to be tough to beat. She is a tough lady. And she was the aggressor. Shannon, quite rightly, was on the toes using a jab, which was good to see in some respects because of the operation that she'd had on that and pretty much had a shoulder replacement. So that was good to see, but she was struggling to keep Mikhailovich off even before the head clash. And Mikhailovich was getting in close. She was ripping to the head and body. And then, of course, the ladies clashed heads and we had that shocking cut down the side. Now, the good thing about it is, and I didn't actually know this at the time, it was the same cut man as Tim Tszyu uses, the same cut man that was in the corner for the Fundora fight. So Shannon would have went back to the corner. He would have been thinking, oh my God, the pressure's going to be on here. But I thought he'd done a really good job. Look, it was a lot easier because the cut was on the side of the head. The blood was going down the side of her face. So it was by no means a hindrance to her during the fight, except the fact that you've got a cut on your head. That's obviously got to be on your mind. But I thought he did a good job. The one advantage he had in this situation, of course, was that the cut, as far as I know, didn't hit an artery, unlike the Tim Tszyu cut, which did hit the artery and was just impossible to stop. And we've been over that 100 times. I thought he did a good job with that. Got the Vaseline on it, got it stopped, all that sort of stuff. And then, but you could tell that Mikhailovich was getting on top. Shannon was doing her best to keep her off, but just having no success. Look, and as I said, it wasn't like Mikhailovich was totally dominant. It was just the fact that she was inside, she was working, she was going to the head and body, really getting in close and roughing Shannon up, who really just had really nothing in return. And I don't like saying that. And then, of course, I think it was the third round, was it, where they clashed heads again, and Shannon had that massive egg on her head, and geez, that would have had to have hurt. And to have the cut and the egg and everything going on, plus a female version of Mike Tyson on top of you, really going to town. It was always going to be tough for Shannon, and I'm really glad. I think it was the fourth round. Correct me if I'm wrong. I'm pretty sure it got to the fourth. I thought they might have actually stopped it after the third, because Shannon was not in great condition, and the damage that had been done to her in 6 minutes of boxing was hard to get your head around. But so we got to the fourth round, and eventually the corner threw in the towel. And look, I think it was a really, really good move, and it was, look, you know, I've known Shannon for about 10 years. I've promoted a lot of her fights, been friends with her for all that time as well, and it was really difficult to see that a fighter that, in my opinion, she would have maybe outboxed, 5, 6, 7 years ago, was able to do that to her. And I would really hope that Shannon retires now. I know the fight was short notice, but it was short notice for both fighters. I know she was maybe training for something. I understand all that, but the facts of the matter are that Mikhailovich really put some hurt on her, and it wasn't like she was just outboxed over 8 rounds and lost a decision and lives the fight another day. I mean, she copped some damage, and I suppose the problem is that, or the issue is that pretty much in every Shannon fight Shannon seems to have, she takes a lot of punishment. She's really starting to get banged up in the face, and at 41 years of age, as a friend and just as a fan and an onlooker, I really hope that this is it for Shannon. And no doubt I'll probably talk to her in the next sort of week or so, and I'll be saying that exactly to her. Is it really worth what's going on at the moment? And as I said, Shannon's a type of fighter, she's just all in. And there's no such thing as, well, I'll just go out there and, if someone like Mikhailovich is on me, I'll just box and survive. She fights back, and that's probably part of her DNA. And it's probably been part of the problem with her in a few of her fights, where she just refuses to clinch or hold or move or back off. She goes to town, or she fights back and trades punches, and even when she's hurt, and as a result she tends to take even more punches. But the fact that I've seen she's had some horrific cuts over her journey, swollen eyes, and she's been knocked out a couple of times. So as I said, I really hope this is it for Shannon. I think too much of her as as one of the great female boxers in this country, that she'll continue on. Because I know, speaking to her in the lead up, she did say that if she lost, it didn't really matter as far as rankings and all that stuff goes. Stuff the rankings. Just look after your family. She has still got a young family, and her whole life in front of her. So I'm hoping that this may be it. And I really think that Shannon could be really good. I said this on the stream last night. I really think Shannon could be used in the media, or as maybe the female amateur boxing team. Maybe it's government programs for females. I don't know, but I just think she's got a lot more to offer. And I think, I know she's probably worried that once she's gone, and that's it. But at 41 years of age, I said, I think that should be curtains for Shannon. So, but on top of all that, obviously, congratulations to Mikhailovich, who did what she had to do and got the win. All right, on to the main event. Well, we didn't go off to a great start, did we? We're on schedule first. That was probably a good thing. Pretty much right on 8:30, we got things rolling. But when both boys got in the ring and the national anthem started playing, oh my God. We played I don't think we played the Australian anthem, to be honest. Normally they'll at least play the anthem of the host country, but that's cool. Because the thing is, they normally play the anthems before they get in the ring. And last night, that would have been very advisable for them to do that, because the shit hit the fan when it came to the Kazakh national anthem. Now, you could tell straight away, as soon as the first note started, the look on Janibek's face, you could see he was visibly rattled. His brother threw the arms in the air. Igor Klimas just shook his head and thought, geez, here we go, another one. Why do I bother coming to Australia? But they got through it. There were people in the crowd that were yelling and everything. It wasn't a great sight, and I could almost feel George Rose, who turned up for the fight, by the way, which is great news. You could almost feel the cringe coming from him. You could just almost feel the coming out of the screen. He's thinking, oh shit. Because look, but I will clarify the Kazakh anthem situation though. Now, the DJ would have been trying to hide under the table, but I sort of looked into it a little bit and read a couple of articles last night. Now, apparently it was the Kazakh national anthem. The problem is that version of the anthem, or that particular anthem, went out in 2006, and they've got a new anthem. So I've got a feeling the DJ or whoever's in charge of the music has jumped on Spotify or wherever you go to for your music, typed in Kazakh national anthem, and that's the one that's come up, and that's the one that he's picked. He wouldn't have known. He's probably never heard the Kazakh national anthem, so you've got to give him a little bit of leeway in the event, and I'm sure George Rose wouldn't have known what was going on either, because obviously you've got to delegate your jobs, but but the reaction from the corner and the crowd told it all. But I'm not gonna throw the DJ under the bus in this instance, because as I said, he wouldn't have never heard the anthem. He's just typed in Kazakh national anthem, and that's what's happened. So anyway, we get on with it. But the look on Janibek's face, wow, not impressed at all. All right, so into the fight itself, and we'll just might cross over here, buddy. This way, man. This way. He gets stubborn. He likes to have his own way. But yeah, the bell rang, and I think the first thing that really struck me was the size difference. I mean, Janibek looked absolutely massive. He looked 2 divisions bigger than Mikhailovich. Now, I'm not sure, I think it's a bit of both actually, that Janibek is a big middleweight, but Mikhailovich is probably not the biggest middleweight you could probably have out there either. He almost looked like he should be at 154. But anyway, that was the first thing that struck me. We had, apart from the size, you could really tell also, just in my opinion, the difference in levels straight away. Janibek looked like he looked smooth, he looked comfortable, he looked slick, he just looked like an elite fighter should. Andre, on the other hand, looked just technically a little bit inept compared to Janibek straight off the bat. And in the first round, it didn't look good, because Janibek, you'd see he was just flicking out the jab. He had absolutely no respect for Andre at all. Andre was a little bit tentative, was backing up a little bit, just poking out the jab, which is understandable. You've got someone of the caliber of Janibek in front of you. I don't think you're going to go out there and start throwing bombs straight away. So, and I think Janibek used the first round as just a little bit of a warm-up. He did land a couple of left hands that I think one of them I went, oh, okay, this is not looking good, because he went straight over the top of Mikhailovich's right hand, which was a little bit low, and smacked him on the button. It wasn't a hard punch, but you could just see, wow, that's what we're going to see for the rest of the fight. This is not going to be good. Then, of course, the second round. Janibek had a 3-minute warm-up and just landed some beautiful punches. Ended up putting Andre down. Now, I haven't seen the replay yet. Now, I had the volume right down, but I couldn't really hear all the commentary, the bells, all that sort of stuff properly, but it did look like it was after the bell, and he got up, and did he even count him? I can't remember. Again, I'll have to look at the replay, but it was just blatantly obvious there that Andre was way out of his depth, and I think we all thought they could have maybe even stopped it then. I understand it's a world title fight, you're going to fight on, but I think we all thought that it was third round, that was going to be curtains for Andre. But to his credit, now I'm not sure whether it was by his own design or his corner was telling him to do it. Again, I couldn't hear a lot in the corner because of the live stream, but what he did really worked. Now, I'm pretty sure Janibek maybe thought he was going to get Andre out of there as well, but I think afterwards it was actually revealed that he wanted the round, so whatever you're going to believe. But I thought Andre, what he did was really give himself a chance. Maybe not necessarily of winning the fight, that was always pretty much mission impossible, but the fact that he gave him, or the tactics he employed, gave him a chance to regroup, but also maybe negate Janibek. And what he did was just purely, rather than boxing him at range and giving Janibek the opportunity to counter him, and those really slick punches coming back at Andre, he closed it up. Now, he made it an ugly fight, and I think we can all agree it was ugly, ugly, ugly. He pretty much closed the distance, closed the range. He just pretty much latched onto Janibek and just did not give him room at all, and he just used those clubbing punches to the back and back of the head, which you don't think he really got warned for from memories, which was unusual. I think the refereeing was pretty inept as well, if I'm being honest. But so he closed it up and he managed to survive, and he really didn't allow Janibek the distance and the range to make him pay. And I think he made up for a lot of his he's falling down as far as the skill versus skill, or whatever you want to call it, fighter versus fighter. He negated all that and actually just made it into a dogfight, and got it in close, put his head on his shoulder, and just didn't allow Janibek any room to get those shots off. He did land a few uppercuts in close, Janibek, but I think over the course of the fight, you could see that maybe Janibek had punched himself out a little bit early as well. You remember, he hadn't fought in 12 months. He'd only been in the country for 2 days. Probably a tough weight cut as well. Had to do the weigh-in that morning as well. So you can probably understand that maybe after the 4th or 5th round, he was starting to feel the effects as well. And I sort of got the impression that at one point he was probably just going to be content just to punish Andre over the fight and just win a decision. But what was also happening is Andre, by doing or putting in place the game plan that he did and the tactics, it was really taking an effect on him as well physically, and he was absolutely exhausted after probably 5 or 6 rounds. And but it wasn't a great fight. And of course, in the 9th round, a combination of punches, or culmination, whatever you want to call it, put Andre down. And he didn't really go down, did he? He sort of fell into the ropes, but the referee, probably the first good thing he'd done in the whole fight, and he called it off. And I'm not sure whether the towel came in as well, I'm not sure, but yeah, look, it was a good stoppage. And look, even though it was a horrible mismatch, and I still don't have an idea of how Andre Mikhailovich actually qualified for the fight, but while I respect him as far as his toughness, and he's just by being so game and having the heart that he did, that's great. But I think we're probably forgetting about the fact that he was so out of his depth, it was just ridiculous, and he took a lot of punishment. And I'm not quite sure what the corner was thinking during the fight. I would have thought, with the punishment that he was taking, and the fact that he had absolutely no chance to win, a young guy, family, all the rest of it, I'm a little bit surprised that as Isaac Peach in the corner didn't say after him, even after maybe give him 6 rounds, and then say, Andre, you've done your best, mate, we're going to call it, because he just took a lot of unnecessary punches. I know Janibek said he wanted to, I think he said afterwards that he was really looking to punish Andre for what happened at the press conference and Wayne and all the rest of it. But all that aside, I just think that Isaac Peach should have stopped the fight. I'm not sure whether, look, and this sometimes happens with corners, they get a little bit caught up in it. They think the man can do it, they can come back, and they sort of live the dreams, I suppose, through the fighter, and they don't want to give up, but they're not the ones taking the punishment. And Andre was always going to hang in there. He's obviously built from that tough Russian steel as well. He was never going to give up. He was going to fight to the end. But it was always really going to end one way. And as I said, I was a little bit disappointed that Isaac Peach in the corner didn't say after about 6 rounds, look, you've done well, you've recovered after the 2nd round, you've hung in there, you've landed a few shots, you've roughed him up a little bit, you've had a crack, but we're gonna stop this fight. But anyway, I wasn't in the corner, I don't know, but from afar, I just think it went probably about 3 rounds too long, maybe even 4. But so that is the review of the fight, guys. Look, I'm sure everyone's got their own take on it. Look, at the end of the day, it was a free card. I thought the fights were entertaining, but yeah, it was a tough watch in that main event, and also with Shannon. But as I said, it's free. It's a Friday night. What else are you going to do? The footy's over. Well, for us AFL fans anyway. I know it's on tomorrow in Sydney, but yeah, I'm not sure what the feedback will be today from No Limit. I think there might be a few red faces around. There was just a lot that went wrong. But anyway, we got through it. That's the main thing. Just before I go, guys, just very quickly, it is Saturday, which means I always do the clapback Thursday Oscar thing that he does on Instagram. We don't sort of get it till the sort of Friday afternoon here, but yeah, he had another crack at Eddie Hearn. The one thing it was all based on Eddie Hearn, by the way, so if you haven't watched it, check it out. But pretty much, as it says, clapping back at Eddie. Eddie saying he's got no star fighters. Well, he brought Ryan Garcia in to give him the bird and whatever else. But he didn't actually answer the question that Eddie, or the topic that Eddie Hearn clapped back at him about by saying he has no stars anymore. He said he's had all these fighters have been beaten or left him or sued him. Ryan Garcia, of course, is his only sort of star at the moment. He's out of action. I know he's got Virgil Ortiz, but he didn't actually answer the clapback of Eddie saying, well, hang on, you've got no fighters left. At least I've got blah, 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 blah. Oscar did point out that I think 14 fighters this year have lost, which is a good comeback. But it's always entertaining anyway. But I like the production he's starting to get into it. He's got the sound effects happening now. He's got the film clips working in. He's obviously hired someone to do the videos for him, so I actually like it. This could end up a TV show or a YouTube show or something, the way it's going. You know, he only does it for 2 or 3 minutes at the moment, but the way we're going, we could have the Oscar De La Hoya show. It'd be probably pretty entertaining, wouldn't it? He's always got a line or a comeback or something for somebody, hasn't he? But yeah, so who knows? We might have the Oscar De La Hoya show on ESPN or something one day. But anyway, guys, that is it for today. Give me your feedback of the fight below. It's pretty hard just to sort of off the top of your head do it without seeing the replay, but I just wanted to give a pretty fresh review. But give us your thoughts. Interested to hear what you think, what happens from here on in with both fighters and the females as well, and anything else that you might want to put in there as well that we can chat about on our morning walk. So guys, have a great weekend, and we'll talk to you tomorrow.